everybody, I'm Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts. Today is day 4 and we're going to talk a little bit about jewelry design. Now that's an enormous topic, so don't worry, I'm not going to try to be exhaustive. But I'm going to talk a little bit just about, sometimes people tend to think of design as this really sort of refined and esoteric thing. And truthfully, design is just beauty combined with function. And of course, if you'll notice, I left my gemstones out because I was like, I made that little collection here and I thought, only for gemstone day? No, because design, of course, has a lot to do with your stone. Now, not every design has gemstones, but certainly I can say for all of us here, a lot of times the stone will kind of, like I said, it kind of talks to you a little bit and it's like, oh, I'd like to be in this or that or the other thing. Maybe I just hear voices in my head, I don't know, but that's what it seems like to me. So I find them very inspiring. And like I said, if you ever get stuck, that's all you have to do is pull out a stone. Now, you know, if you're looking to have a handpiece made.
Wow.
A handpiece. That's not what I meant.
Okay. No.
Codpiece. If you're looking to have a codpiece made.
I was like a gun? Like a handpiece?
Call me at 1-800-Merkin now.
That's a whole other video, and I'm not filming that one.
Oh, well. So if you're looking for a special piece for yourself, you're going to want to go to a handmade jewelry artist. You're going to want to go for someone who can sit down, or, you know, virtually, and basically talk to you about you and what you want and what you need and your style and everything. Because, you know, you can have something made exactly right for you. And, you know, something mass produced, like I said, there's millions of beautiful things out there. Doesn't mean you may not like it, but it certainly won't be for you in the same way. I love working on clients on commissions. I mean, sometimes I just make a piece. You know, a stone inspires me. I have an idea, I make it, and then hopefully someone sees it and they buy it. But a lot of times I do commissions because it's so great when someone, you know, sees a piece on a friend of theirs and they're like, oh, I love that. Who made that? You know, and then you get to really collaborate with people and make something really personal and amazing for them. So I find that super fun. And again, you know, if you get together with another artist and you're not feeling the vibe, guess what? Just ask him for a referral. You know, like if you like the kind of jewelry that I make and you're down for it, then hey, great. But if what you're describing, I'm like, oh, that's not really my jam. You know, I have a million super talented friends that I can send you to, which because at this point, all my friends are jewelers. So it's all jewelers all the time. You can find just the right person for you who's going to make the perfect thing. And that is something you're never going to get out of just like shopping in a store. So the next thing I think to really talk about is fit. If you're getting a bracelet, if you're getting a ring, even earrings, they have to really fit you and be comfortable on you. And that is something, again, you may not get out of a mass-produced piece. If I make a piece for someone with a ring, before I finish setting the stones or finish the piece, I always have them come in and try the ring on. Because, you know, rings come in certain sizes. It's like, you know, a size 6 or a size 6.5. Well, it's just like buying a pair of jeans, you know. Does anybody really make your size? No. And it's the same thing with bracelets and rings. You know, if I'm making something for you, I'm going to try it on you and have it fit you perfectly. Not just like, this is a standard size 6 or a size 8, and that's what most people, you know, put up with because they don't know any better, you know what I mean? So being able to customize the fit and the shape, you know, when I try on a pair of earrings, for a really quick little side trip to my home studio, these earrings were inspired by the headdresses from Priam's Treasure. It's a very famous archaeological find with these amazing sort of little gold leafy type headdress. Unbelievable. I had always wanted to do something like that, although I think for me, earrings was a tiny bit more practical than a headdress. And a couple of years ago, I was approached by the producers from the PBS Nova special Treasures of the Earth Metals. They were doing a section on gold and I was invited to participate, so I was so excited. So these were the earrings I made because I thought this was my time to make those, like, hopefully knock it out of the park earrings worthy of PBS Nova. And I was very happy with how they came out, but one thing that I had not truly anticipated was how they felt. The fringe, when you wear them, you absolutely feel like a queen. Now that doesn't mean that everything you wear has to be super fancy like this, but the point is that handmade jewelry should delight you across the spectrum. How it looks, how it feels, and most importantly, how it makes you feel. I want it to feel amazing. I don't want it to be pokey. I don't want it to be too heavy or too light. I mean, I like jewelry I can feel. I mean, as you maybe you can tell, I'm not super minimalist. But just because you can feel it doesn't mean it's uncomfortable. Like, I made this ring basically for me because I'm greedy. And like, I worked on this shank. This thing fits like a glove. You know, I mean, how many of you out there like have couture clothes made? Maybe some of you, and you know, good for you. But having that custom experience is really special. So when you're working with a jewelry artist, the design process may be very different because we're all different. I guess I shouldn't be ashamed to admit, maybe a few of you out there have seen my videos before, I can't draw to save my life. A stick person is about as good as I can get. So I am not the person who can sit down and do like a beautiful rendering of the jewelry. If I drew my jewelry ahead of time, no one would ever buy it because it would be horrifying. But I'm able to talk to someone and show them things and be able to, you know, get on the same wavelength, and that's the most important thing. Lots of people have amazing drawing abilities and they can actually really sketch out the piece and show you, which actually is more common. Honestly, I never thought I had any artistic talent growing up because I couldn't draw. So to me, it's like, if you can't draw, you've got no art, you know what I mean? Which it turned out I do, but the drawing didn't improve. You'd think after all these years it would, but no. So the most important thing to remember though about design is that, you know, A, beauty in the eye of the beholder, but then it becomes about function, you know? So really we have to think about what you're going to do when you're wearing that jewelry. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, like, so hard to tell. I like big fancy jewelry just because I love jewelry. I love hyper detailed things. I like jewelry I can feel, you know, I like how that makes me feel. But it depends on what you're going to do. You know, are you the kind of person that like is really minimalist and likes to just wear your jewelry, you know, every minute of the day and never take it off? It's kind of like back when we were talking about alloys, it kind of relates to the kind of design you're going to choose. Now, my personal belief in life is that people should start wearing jewelry in the supermarket like they're going to meet the queen, because life is too fucking short. You know, that whole like, oh, is that too dressy? You know, like, bam, there it is. But that's my feelings, and that doesn't have to be how you feel about things. But you just want to consider the lifestyle that you live and where you see yourself wearing things. And that's just something that you want to be talking with the person you're collaborating with. You know what I mean? What your lifestyle is. I mean, honestly, I wear my jewelry more in the studio and just like when I go out. I'm definitely not in the supermarket or in the subway, even though, you know, I would like to. And I always think like, would people think it's real? No, you know what I mean? But still, it's just, you have to think about how you're going to wear your jewelry, because you're the most important thing. You are the most important thing. But you don't want to make choices that you're just going to destroy your jewelry either. It's the same thing with, you know, getting back to gemstones a tiny bit, how you choose your gemstones. Like stones that are more fragile, like opal or pearls or whatever, you're not going to want to put that in a ring that you're going to wear every single day if you're rough on your jewelry, for example. If you want to wear something all the time and you want it to be tough, you need it to be something harder. Like a diamond, of course, is the hardest, but things like sapphires, you know, that are quite hard, that are really going to hold up to a lot of hard knocks. So these are the things you want to discuss with your collaborator and basically try to narrow it down to what you need out of your jewelry. I mean, that's the whole point of customizing it to you, is that it's right for you, for your life. It brings delight to your eyes and your soul when you wear it, because to me, jewelry is a failure if you don't feel a little like, woo, you know what I mean, when you put it on. If you don't, you've got the wrong jewelry. You need to change out. You know what I mean? It should really bring you joy. Practicality sometimes is a tiny bit of a dirty word, but it needs to be at least a little practical, because there's no point in smashing something up and destroying it and then you'll be sad, because ultimately jewelry is about how you feel. All of it, that's what it's about. When I put on a handmade piece of jewelry, I know I've got like my heart and soul and guts and swearing and, you know, all, and years and years and years of exhaustive work to get hopefully good enough to make something that I'm really proud of. You know, that's something special. It gives me a great feeling, and hopefully anyone trying on my jewelry is going to feel that same thing. So just remember, you should be thrilled. You know, it should give you a real woo. If it doesn't, you need to get some new jewelry. So I don't know if all of you have heard about CAD before, or computer aided design, but it is a modern tool to design jewelry. Now, it's a tool like any other, and some people use it to make beautiful, amazing stuff, and some people use it to make absolutely dreadful, boring dreck. Although some people can use CAD to make gorgeous handmade things, for the most part, the stuff that you see that's mass produced is all made in CAD. And the joke among jewelers is that CAD jewelry has a smell, which of course it doesn't have an actual smell. But the further you get away from the human, the more steps you put in between where there's no person there making decisions, and things can get a little soulless, you know? And again, it may be a lovely piece of jewelry, and it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it. But think about a beautiful painting. If you go to a museum and you stand in front of a painting, you're absorbing all of it. The artist's intention, the color, and the brushstrokes. And it's just, it makes you feel a certain way. Even if you can't like in modern art, they say, you know, it's like, even if you can't articulate why you have the emotional reaction you have an emotional reaction. Now, think about a beautiful painting, like a Matisse or whatever floats your boat. And think about removing all the brushstrokes. Is it still beautiful? Probably, but it's different. You've taken away the fingerprints of the artist. And a lot of computer aided design can be that way. Not always, like I said, there are people out there that use that tool beautifully, but that's some of what happens when jewelry is mass produced, because beauty isn't about perfection. It truly isn't. Something that becomes too perfect becomes a little less interesting. And that's why handmade jewelry, in my mind, the most beautiful mass-produced piece of jewelry in the world, your eye is always going to go to the handmade piece, because you see the fingerprints of the artist. So to me, that's a desirable thing. And, you know, like if you see a print, you know, a print may be beautiful, but is it the same as experiencing a painting? It's not. So there are a lot of things that go into design. You've got form, you've got function, you know, usability, practicality, the woo factor, which personally I rate extremely high, but you know, everyone has their own scale of woo. But only a handmade artist can combine all of those things to make the perfect thing for you. Practical, beautiful, and woo!